Entitled dad and his trash girlfriend steal my boyfriend's house because he didn't even want it. My boyfriend's dad came into some fortune about half a year ago and bought a house for me and my boyfriend. Boyfriend's dad and boyfriend wanted me very involved in the process, as I have dealt heavily with real estate in the past. So I recommended costs, neighborhoods, specific houses to look at, etc. We settled on a beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath. A while ago, my boyfriend subletted a room in our house for only $300 a month to 2 of his very good, or so he thought, friends. A man, age 30, who is the entitled dad, and a woman, age 21, who is his girlfriend. I hated them and had heard terrible things about both of them. They were very rude and entitled, and also both have disgusting criminal records, especially the man. But whatever, I absolutely do not blame my boyfriend for trying to be a good friend. Maybe I had misunderstood these people, and I was willing to give them a chance. Also important to note that entitled dad had 3 kids with a woman that is not his current girlfriend, but lost them due to several charges of child abuse, domestic abuse, trespassing, etc. It took maybe a week before entitled dad and his girlfriend started getting very entitled, never cleaned a single thing, left huge messes everywhere, smoked pot 24/7 in the house, constantly let their cat out on accident and blamed us for setting it free on purpose, never paid a single dime of rent in their 3 months there. Also didn't mow the lawn or clear snow from sidewalks, even though they agreed to in the lease. Entitled dad quit his job as an excuse to not pay rent. His girlfriend never had a job because she is, quote, too pretty to work. About a month later, they started treating me and my boyfriend like crap. They let his cats outside and lost them on purpose, threw all our crap on the floor, in the garage, and into his old dirty farm truck, which hadn't been used for months as the farm had been sold, changed the locks and locked us out of the house, etc. They were served with multiple notices and eviction, and left after a lot of effort and heated debate. Once we had noticed they left, boyfriend had asked me to change the locks immediately and move our stuff back in while he was at work. The next day, entitled dad and his girlfriend came back and set up camp while we were gone, as we hadn't moved all our furniture yet and were still staying elsewhere. They had only a blow-up mattress, a couple suitcases, and some laundry in the washing machine, in an effort to make it seem like they had never left. They ripped the new locks out and changed them once again, and threw all our stuff back into the garage, damaging multiple high-cost items. We talked with the cop and his partner, and they agreed that once an evicted tenant leaves, they can be charged for trespassing and breaking and entering if they return, even if they still have a key. So we went to the house, and they were still there. We broke in through a window in the garage, and at first calmly asked entitled dad and his girlfriend to leave. This was a few months ago and was very heated, so I don't remember perfectly, but this was the gist of it. My boyfriend said, "You were served with an eviction and chose to leave. You cannot come back now. We will call the police unless you pack up and leave now. This is your last warning." And entitled dad responds, "No, we don't have to leave. This is our house. We are renting from you and have every right to be here. My kids are coming to live with me and we are going to start a new life here. I won them in a custody battle." Side note, there was no custody battle, obviously. And my boyfriend says, "I don't care, you already left, and you were served with an eviction. We went to court. Even if you weren't, I never said your kids could live here. The other 2 rooms are ours." And I add in, "You don't even have your kids. We know that's a lie. No court would give you custody over them when you have no job or residence." Yes, I was a bit of a B-word. This eviction had been going on for months and I was sick of it. An entitled dad's girlfriend says to my boyfriend, "You didn't even want this house. Your dad only bought it for you because you're effing spoiled and this dumb B-word wanted it. Just let us live here." We walked outside and called the cops. They came immediately as it was a slow Saturday. They went inside and started assessing the situation. Entitled dad and his girlfriend were obviously scared crapless, as they were both on probation and in possession of numerous drugs that are illegal in our state. Cops looked around and it was obvious to them that entitled dad and his girlfriend had moved and only came back to be a-holes. The following conversation is edited a bit, as entitled dad kept interrupting the cops, so I'm leaving out a few of the things he said so that it can actually be readable. The cop said, "So you were evicted, you left, and the owner changed the locks and moved his property back in, correct?" No, I didn't change the locks. I just took theirs off and put our old ones back on. So you did change the locks? Well, yes, but not really because... Yes or no, you changed the locks? Technically, but yes or no only. Entitled Dad looks increasingly nervous and says, yes. And the cop responds, clearly you moved out. I have all of the paperwork for notices and eviction served to you. You have no right to be here now. Pack up your crap and leave. We didn't move out. We just removed all of our stuff and took it to a storage unit. They don't even need the house. He didn't even effing want it, that dumb C-word did. Talking about me. I have 3 kids. They will be homeless now. And the cop says, no, you do not. I know your record. Grab your crap and leave now. Entitled Dad starts screaming, getting in the cops' faces and making violent hand motions. I'm leaving a few bits of text out here as it was just pointless and mostly incoherent yelling from Entitled Dad. The cops had had enough and said, get your crap and leave now. And Entitled Dad argues, no, the court hasn't ruled on it yet, we don't have to leave. True, the court hadn't ruled on it yet, but in our state, if a tenant served with an eviction leaves, they cannot come back, even without a court order. And the cop says, I know the case, I know the law, leave or... And the dad cuts him off. No, I know my rights, my kids need this house. And the cop says, shut up now. If you say one more word, I can and will arrest you for trespassing and breaking and entering. Get your crap and leave now. Entitled Dad is silent for a moment and says, how long do I have? I expected the cop to say an hour, a day, something lenient, even though they had been a-holes and were breaking the law. What he said next was very satisfying. 5 minutes. Get your crap and leave right now or I will arrest you. So Entitled Dad and his girlfriend begrudgingly packed up. Just before they left, the cop told them that if they ever set foot near the property again, my boyfriend and I had grounds to have them arrested and charged with multiple felonies. The cops my boyfriend and I were talking and shooting the crap for a bit before him and his partner left as well. Later, the court ruled on our case. We won. And Entitled Dad would have to pay $1,000 to even attempt to appeal. We also found out that they stole many of our items, including very important legal documents for the house, and they were never returned to us. Entitled Dad and his girlfriend disappeared, so despite their very best efforts, the cops couldn't retrieve the items either. We are paying out the butt to replace these items and documents. This was many months ago, and we are still recovering from it and repairing the house. Anti-vax mom and dad expose golf tournament children and entire airplane to COVID. So my good buddy has been working really hard with his good son at becoming a great golfer. He's done a good job, and the great son was invited to play at a major golf tournament last month in Arizona. Super big deal. On ESPN, celebrities, etc. My buddy is close with an anti-vax dad, and the kids play golf together, and both were going to the tournament to play on a team. Before leaving for the tournament and when you get to the tournament, you need to take a COVID test. Anti-vax dad tested positive for COVID, but his kid and wife did not. So even though they all live in the same household, none of them have had the vaccine, and certainly the wife and kid are already exposed. Anti-vax dad has the mom take the kid to Arizona instead. Upon arriving in Arizona, they need to do another COVID test at the hotel, which comes back positive. Surprise, surprise. So at this point, they're not allowed to play in the tournament and need to quarantine for 10 days at the hotel in Arizona. But what do these a-holes do? They say F that and get back on a plane and fly home, exposing everybody on the airplane. My good buddy is mad. He's angry that his kid could have been exposed, and he's angry at the selfish mom who decided to put her and her COVID-positive kid on an airplane. So my good buddy talks to the nurse who administered the COVID test the day before and lets her know what the anti-vax mom did. And now the nurse, who is super pissed off, is going to be alerting the FBI and the police. I hope they get their comeuppance. It's one thing to be anti-vax, but these people just do whatever the F they want and don't follow any rules, putting the rest of us at risk. Even with a bunch of young kids involved, they only thought of themselves. Bunch of selfish a-holes.